working to connect a region of over 600 cultural bridges between our lands.
Good evening, I'm Alma Angeles, and you're watching ASEAN in Focus on tonight's headlines. Interior and Local Government Secretary Benhar Abalos Jr. said one more suspect in the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo has surrendered to authorities. Authorities in Thailand expanded their search for a dangerous metal cylinder with radioactive contents that has gone missing from a power plant, warning the public that it poses a danger to health. And Singapore's Changi Airport, one of the busiest passenger hubs for Southeast Asia, has been named the world's best airport 2023. And the Iglesia ni Cristo's recent blood drive in Hanoi, Vietnam will bring you the latest. First in our news, Interior and Local Government Secretary Benhar Abalos Jr. said one more suspect in the killing of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo has surrendered to authorities. Let's listen in.
In a related development, we welcome the report of the surrender of at least of one other suspect who is now under the custody of the AFP, who will in turn be turned over now to the NBI. Inuulit ko, may magandang pangyayari na kung saan merong isang nag-surrender, no, na part daw ito ng team doon sa pagpaslang kay Degamo, pag-surrender niya sa AFP at ngayon ay iti-turn over sa NBI. We understand that the suspect has vital and critical information that we hope will pay for the resolution of this case the soonest possible time. As these investigations were underway, the PNP CIDG implemented 10 search warrants for firearms and explosives, including those owned and or controlled by Congressman Arnulfo Alipit Teves Jr. or his associates. These search warrants were an offshoot of the PNP's investigation into the murder of 3 persons in Dumaguete City in 2019, namely Miguel Lopez Dungog, Lester Bato, and Pasito Libron. The implementation of the search warrants resulted in the confiscation of 17 firearms and 2 explosives, the arrest of 6 persons associated with Congressman Teves Jr., subsequent thereto, criminal complaints for illegal possession of firearms and explosives were filed against Congressman Teves Jr. and the 6 arrested suspects.
At least 6 gunmen armed with rifles and wearing military-style uniforms opened fire in the governor's home in Pamplona Municipality in the central province of Negros Oriental. Governor Roel Degamo became the latest victim of a recent rash of assailants or assaults on local Philippine politicians. Degamo, 56, was at least the 3rd politician to be shot in the Philippines since last year's general election. The Supreme Court declared him last month the rightful winner of the contest for the Negros Oriental governorship following a recount that unseated his rival, who had previously been proclaimed victor. Degamo had campaigned for President Marcos during his run for the top job. President Marcos has condemned the dastardly and heinous assassination of his political ally and has sent his top officials, including police and military chiefs, to investigate. Authorities in Thailand expanded their search for a metal cylinder with dangerous radioactive contents that has gone missing from a power plant, and they warned the public that it poses a danger to health. Our ASEAN correspondent from Thailand, Cristel Nicole Regalado, reports from Bangkok.
Last March 10, a radioactive cylinder was reported missing in Thailand. Nearly a week on, it's still nowhere to be seen. Staff at the coal-fired plant in Prachinburi province, east of Bangkok, noticed the steel tube, 30 centimeters long and 13 centimeters wide, was missing during routine checks. The company believes it may have fallen from a wall mount about 18 meters days earlier. Radiation tests at the plant show that it has been taken off the premises. Titi Fan, Chief Pen Tham of the National Power Supply Public Company, which owns the plant, said the 25-kilogram tube contains highly radioactive cesium-137. The casing carries no warning labels to deter anyone from opening it. At the least, it would cause rashes and burns. In extreme cases, exposure to the material could result in death. Luckily, records dating back to 1 month at hospitals and healthcare centers in the province and ongoing surveillance hasn't revealed any suspected case of sickness or injuries related to exposure to the radioactive material. Most recently than the last Thai incident, a radioactive canister containing cesium-137 went missing in Western Australia this January. A 6-day search led to the discovery of the missing cylinder on an outback highway where it was apparently misplaced during transportation from an iron ore mine in a depot in Perth. Optimism runs a little lower though here in Thailand. Unlike a remote Australian road, authorities in Thailand are searching in a densely populated area where almost 500,000 people reside and which is frequently visited by both local and international tourists for its farmed national parks. So let's keep hoping. Reporting from Bangkok, Thailand, this is Crystal Regalado reminding you to stay alert because we live in extraordinary times.
President Marcos Jr. said his administration will see some projects of former President Duterte come into fruition after the government unveiled its flagship infrastructure program earlier this month. Let's listen in.
Nitong linggo ay inaprubahan natin ang 194 na high-impact infrastructure projects na nagkakahalagang humigit kumulang 9 trillion pesos. Ito ay bahagi ng ating Build Better More program na naglalayong magpapadala ng mas maginhawa at mas maunlad na buhay sa iba't ibang sektor ng ating lipunan sa pamamagitan ng mga higit na kinakailangang moderno at dekalidad ng mga infrastruktura. Ito ang landas na ating tatahakin tungo sa isang bagong Pilipinas. Bakit kailangan ituloy ang mga infrastructure project ng nakaraang administrasyon? Meron tayo kuminsan na ugali dito sa Pilipinas at sa ibang lugar din na kapag nagbago ang administrasyon, ang pag-iisip ay lahat ng nakaraan na ginawa ng dating administrasyon ay tinitigil dahil sinasabi walang magandang nangyari. Ay hindi naman tama yun. Kung maganda naman ang proyekto, ba't di natin itutuloy? Hindi yan ang pag-iisip na magdadala sa atin sa isang bagong Pilipinas. Kung masusi naman ang pag-aaral at talagang may pakinabang, dapat talagang ituloy. Ang infrastruktura ay kaunlaran. Lalo na at kasama nito ay masusing pag-aaral. Sa ganitong paraan, walang masasayang na pondo dahil ang bawat proyekto ay mapapakinabangan ng mamamayan.
Now, these projects include transportation, infrastructure, digital connectivity, flood control, health-related initiatives, and power and energy, among others. The chief executive also said he hopes these public infrastructure projects will help solve traffic congestion in the metro and improve connectivity in the provinces, as well as alleviate the country's food security issues and mitigate the climate change impacts. In other news, internet users in the Philippines are facing a barrage of bogus and harmful medical posts on social media platforms, where Filipinos rank among the world's heaviest users. Many of the products are promoted in videos that have been doctored to make it look like real medical professionals are endorsing them. Take a look.
I was doing those videos to teach, and I was so disheartened to find out that it was used to sell a product that was not even FDA approved. So it was used to fool people. So for me, that was really disheartening. And actually, after that, I wanted to take down all of my videos already. But I would say there is significant misinformation or disinformation in the medical community, or at least in the health sector or health information. But I would say there's still a lot of good content out there, especially if the audience focuses on getting this information from reliable sources.
Others appear in falsified news reports, while some are touted by vloggers. The consequences of using unapproved treatments can be dire. Vicente Ocampo, president of the Philippine Academy of Ophthalmology, said patients as young as 12 had become blind after using eye drops bought online instead of consulting a doctor. Ocampo said Facebook posts selling an unregistered eye drop brand that had used images of real doctors and the Academy's name, but the Academy struggled to get traction with its warnings about the misinformation.
But in this particular case, since we don't know the components and they are not really registered with the FDA, so I don't think we can trust as of now what they claim to be the effects of such products.
On our end, as physicians, of course, we have to tell them the pros and cons of each medicine. We have to tell them the possible risks, the possible side effects, but they don't hear that from the advertisements of whatever product is being sold to them. No? It's just the positives, and we're not even sure if those positives or claims are true. Because if it's too good to be true, then it must be, untrue or false.
Oh, that also makes it dangerous, especially because if you don't know what is inside, of course that could, of course, be either beneficial or detrimental, but we don't know because it doesn't have the list of the materials or ingredients on the packaging.
Meta, meanwhile, Meta Facebook told AFP it was working with Philippine law enforcement to address illegal commercial listings. Singapore's Changi Airport, one of the busiest passenger hubs for Southeast Asia, has just been named the world's best airport this year. Air Transport Research for Skytrax announced the World Airport Award 2023, where the city-state's airport reclaimed the top spot. Raymar Gutierrez reports.
Airports are known as the gateways to the world, as it connects one country or city to the another, and it is the first thing you will notice upon arriving from your flight. One of the busiest airports in the world is found in Asia, the Singapore Changi Airport, an airport located within its namesake district of Changi, in the eastern side of Singapore, about 24 kilometers from the Singapore's downtown. This airport is somehow a destination to many, as you can spend hours just transiting and enjoying their world-class amenities. This Port Terminal Airport houses the world's tallest slide, swimming pool, movie theaters, and even theme gardens that houses different varieties of plants, and some even with live butterflies. It even has interactive exhibits you can enjoy and experience, giving it one-of-a-kind journey for everyone. For travelers, it also houses self-check-in counters, bag drops, and even automated immigration gates, lessening the queue on the counters. One of the most popular exhibit this airport has is the Rain Vortex, which is also the world's tallest indoor waterfall with a height of 7 stories. Due to its marble, the Singapore Changi Airport was awarded as the #1 airport in the world by Skytrax for 8 consecutive years, from 2013 to 2020. But due to the pandemic, the airport lost its crown in 2021 and 2022. But once again, in the 2023 World Airport Award ceremony last March 15 in the Netherlands, the Singapore Changi Airport awarded as the #1 airport in the world by Skytrax. This award was given by Skytrax CEO Mr. Edward Plysted and received by Mr. Yum Kum Weng, EVP of the Airport Development in Changi Airport, and Mr. Lee Shou Hyang, CEO of Changi Airport. Through all these years, Singapore Changi Airport is a choice of many, a history for the Aero Bridge construction, a gateway to the world, and a pride of the ASEAN. Again, this is your ASEAN correspondent, Raymond Dutertes, reminding you to stay alert because we live in extraordinary times.
In tonight's other news, Cambodian leader Hun Sen unveiled a collection of stolen Angkor crown jewelry, which was recently returned to the kingdom after decades in Britain, pleading for other long-lost treasures to be handed back. Take a look. Now, gold crowns, necklaces, and amulets were among the trove of treasures from the Angkor period, which ran from the 9th to 14th centuries AD, when the Khmer Empire dominated vast parts of Southeast Asia. The Cambodian Culture Ministry characterized the items to go on display at the National Museum as priceless cultural heritage. The Culture Ministry last month discreetly received 77 pieces from the family of the late disgraced British art dealer Douglas Latchford. Two 10th century sculptures recently returned by the U.S. were also displayed. Dominic Williams, the British ambassador to Cambodia, tweeted that it was an extraordinary privilege to see these previously stolen artifacts displayed in their ancestral home. When he died in 2020, Latchford was awaiting trial in the U.S. for art trafficking, and the same year his family agreed to return the antiquities to Cambodia. The family returned 5 stone and bronze artifacts in 2021. To Papua New Guinea now, where the 2023 Hairy Moale Festival is taking place every March 3rd and the 5th in the nation's capital, Port Moresby. It's a time where people get together in celebration of culture and identity of the indigenous people of the city. Our correspondent from Papua New Guinea, Eko Orteleza Quinola, reports from Port Moresby.
Hairy Moale Day once again gathers the citizens and the foreign visitors. The annual event commences in Aracona Beach and Sir Hubert Murray Stadium. This celebration is to pay homage to the voyagers of the trading tribes and villages using the famous iconic sea vessel called Lakatoy. Lakatoy is a wooden hull covered with bamboo and straw boat. The National Capital District officials led the joy-filled day. The Motukoy-Tabu region highlights and showcases the culture and identity of the indigenous residents of the capital city. Activities include a canoe race, cultural dances, and the selection of a queen from the representatives of each village. The traditional cultural shows unites the city once again. One people, one city, one future for Port Moresby. Eko Orteleza Quinola, Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea, Eagle News. We live in extraordinary times.
In other news beyond the region, with declining stocks of whitefish, many fishermen in northern England have turned to lobster fishing to ensure the survival of the lobster stocks. A hatchery in Whitby raises the crustaceans before releasing them into the open sea, increasing the chances that more will survive into adulthood. Here's a report.
Several fishermen in Whitby in the northeast have switched to lobster fishing as whitefish stocks decline throughout the United Kingdom. A hatchery has been established in Whitby to nurture the crustaceans to a juvenile stage of development before releasing them into the water, boosting the likelihood that more will survive into adulthood and ensuring the longevity of the lobster populations.
So in these tanks here are the egg-bearing females, and underneath their tails you can see they're covered in thousands of eggs, and these will hatch into larvae. And when they hatch, they'll make their way down these tubes here and collect into those cones at the end. We'll then take those larvae and move them into the development room.
Some 100,000 lobsters are landed each year, providing jobs for 150 people. Joe Redfern, who runs the Whitby Lobster Hatchery, hopes eventually to release the same number each year from his tanks. In the unforgiving open sea, the survival rate for lobster larvae is just 1 in 20,000 or 0.5%. By allowing them to grow in a protected environment, Redfern hopes to increase that to 20 or 30%.
Yeah, so here in Whitby, We are the third largest lobster fishery in Europe, and on average we catch around 100,000 lobsters each year. So what we would like to do is to offset that by releasing around about 100,000 juvenile lobsters back into the sea. Yeah, it was really born out of the fishing industry. You know, there's like I say, there's a lot of people now dependent on the lobster industry, and you know, it's really come from the fishing community that they wanted to make sure that that was protected into the future. So the idea was there to try and do what we can to give something back to the oceans to make sure that they're safe and secure, and in doing so protecting the fishing livelihoods.
I mean, as fishermen, yeah, we tend to take from the sea. We do give back, you know, certain vessels, certain people will notch buried ends like we do and put them back, doing a little bit of conservation ourselves at sea.
The project raised more than 100,000 pounds or $120,000 to get off the ground from crowdfunding and corporate sponsorship. Individual donors can sponsor a lobster and follow it until it is introduced into the sea. The idea came from the Whitby fishing community, drawing inspiration from a similar project in Cornwall, southwest England. Reporting from London, United Kingdom, I am Sara Alcantara. Stay safe, for we live in extraordinary times.
Thanks, Echo. As the Bible says, help out our fellow men in whatever way we can. This is one of the best ways we can. By donating blood, we can help many people in need of it. As the Iglesia ni Cristo's care for humanity around the globe continues, the church in Vietnam conducted one recently. Our ASEAN Bureau correspondent, Ria Ramos, reports from Hanoi. Ria.
For me, blood is life, and by donating my blood, I can help to extend the life of others who are in need.
Brother Bobby is a new member of the Church of Christ and is one of the volunteers who came here today in National Institute of Hematology and Blood Transfusion in Hanoi, Vietnam, to save lives by donating blood.
Brother Bobby, together with the members of Iglesia ni Cristo in Hanoi, arrived early in the venue and went through the process of donating blood. From registration to checking of vital signs, members of Iglesia ni Cristo gladly adhered until they have donated blood. Brother Edwin Australiado, minister of Iglesia ni Cristo, led in the said activity.
Blood donation, just like what we are doing today, is one of the many kinds of socio-civic activities being conducted by the Iglesia ni Cristo in communities all over the world. And we, members of the Church of Christ here in Hanoi, Vietnam, are united with our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, in caring for humanity, sharing our blood to many people. And also, this is one of the act of kindness that members of the Church of Christ are doing. And this is in accordance with the teaching of the Lord God written in the Holy Scriptures, that whenever you possibly can, do good for those who are in need.
One of the volunteers expressed her gratitude to the church administration for launching Care for Humanity project to show their love to other people.
As a member of a Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo, we are just not focusing on spiritual matters, but also for the care for humanity endeavors. So blood donation activity is one way to show our love and care for other people, and as written in the Bible that blood is life, so we want to share our blood to save other people's life, and we are so thankful to our church executive minister, Brother Eduardo Manalo, for approving this activity here in Hanoi, Vietnam.
Mr. Dao Ngo Bao Phuc, a volunteer in National Institute of Hematology and Blood Transfusion, appreciate this act by members of Iglesia ni Cristo in Hanoi for doing the said activity every year.
So just give blood, save life. And thank you INC for coming here every year to donate blood.
Reporting from Hanoi, Vietnam, I am Ria Ramos. We live in extraordinary times.
Thanks, Ria. Meanwhile, Miguel Tabuena of the Philippines hit a scorching final round 65 to race up to the leaderboard and win the DGC Open crown of the Asian Tour at storm-hit Delhi Golf Club on Sunday. Take a look. Local hope Rashid Khan was the overnight leader, 3 shots clear of the pack. But final round nerves undid the Indian, who finished 1 stroke behind Tabuena in second place on 11 under par. Tabuena was joint 6th going into the final day, 6 shots behind Khan, but a 7 under par round of 65 that included a huge 50-foot putt on 12 clinched him his 3rd Asian Tour victory. The 28-year-old's round included 7 birdies, 4 of them on the back 9, and 2 of those back-to-back. The 3rd Asian Tour victory of his career was worth 7.3 million pesos for Tabuena, who won the Philippine Open in 2015 and the Queen's Cup in Thailand in 2018. Now, more than a week has passed since the 95th Oscars took place in Hollywood, yet the memorable moments and milestone achievements during the said event are still creating an impact on fans and audiences around the globe, including those in Hawaii. Let's find out what the Oscar results mean to the Asian American Pacific Islander experience. We have Alfred and Mio Acenas with this report.
So last year we watched the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once starring Michelle Yeoh, and I don't think any of us ever imagined that it would be so critically acclaimed and rich with these awards from the Oscars, Golden Globes. Let me ask you this though, Mio, what was your favorite part of the movie that really struck you, and why?
Well, I think my favorite part of the movie was the part when Evelyn was trying to explain to her family with the raccoon who is controlling a chef.
Yeah.
When in actuality, she was trying to explain. She was talking about the rat chef. And then in another scene, there was an actual raccoon who was controlling a chef. Rakakuni, they call him.
But what hit me the most was at the very end. Near the very end, when Evelyn and the IRS lady, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, finally came to terms and got along and understood each other's situation. We managed to get input from our friend Theta Pilar Pineda, who is a YouTube influencer. And here's what she has to say about the recent Oscar wins by Asians. Let's take a look.
As a proud Filipino and Asian growing up in the United States, I'm well aware that there are many talented Filipinos and Asians, and I admire them for that. At one point, a lot of Filipinos had won awards in Europe, like Brillante Mendoza, Jacqueline Jose, Nora Honor, and many more actors and directors from the Philippines, as well as other Asian countries. So I'm happy for them. But just because Hollywood didn't recognize Asian artists in the past, that didn't lessen their ability and even their greatness in their field of arts, right? It's really their loss, that they just keep giving awards to the same people in Hollywood when talents are everywhere and Asians have a wealth of those talents. Even though we've seen them in the past, like Michelle Yeoh, finally you've recognized their talent, so I say Oscar is good for you.
With that, I think we'll look forward to another eventful bunch of movies and ceremonies to that effect. So that's all we have from Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm Alfred.
I'm Mio.
And we live in extraordinary times.
As my usual habit, I'd like to end the day on a positive note. Let's encourage and build each other up so that no one is left behind. And that's it for tonight's broadcast. I'm Alma Angela. Stay in the news because we live in extraordinary times. Good night.